Hi guys, this is Bryant here at Comic-Con 2017 once again. We're back at the Dark Horse booth, and we're going to be talking to one of the Buffy comic writers, Kel McDonald. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired since it's Sunday, but
it is the last day. Everyone's on their last legs, but we're still having a great time.
yeah.
So I'm always happy to talk about Buffy, so I'm particularly happy about this. Can we start off by just sort of talking about what it takes, given that Buffy is in roughly her late 20s, early 30s at this point in the current, I guess, timeline. But you're bringing the character back to her high school years.
Right.
So what does it take to sort of dive back into those classic Buffy years?
Well, so I rewatched season 1 and then tried to find episodes where it's like, this is where my story will take place. So I tried not to mention anything after that point or before that point, and just keep stuff simple. And also wanted to make it easy for people who are unfamiliar with Buffy to jump on.
Okay.
So they can maybe use my comic to get into the larger franchise.
So this can even be sort of a doorway either into the TV series or the other comics.
Right. So because it also skews a little bit younger. So if someone who is an adult now, they have their kids and they want their kids to watch Buffy, so they're skewed at maybe 10, 11-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cute.
It very much is. And can you talk, the artwork is just fantastic. Can you talk a little bit about the artist that you're working with?
So Yusheng Li, I was brought on board after she was already picked.
Okay.
And so I just love her art style. I think that they picked a perfect artist for it. I like that it's more manga and cartoony, because sometimes I feel like when it is more realistic, that can be a turn-off, especially to younger readers.
Sure. Do you know if, and you might not know this answer, but do you know if that choice was in any way to sort of tap into the fact that the younger audiences seem to be more into anime and manga?
Well, it's also, because I self-published, I have a little bit of experience, stuff like that, so I know that a lot of the people that are the audience bases that are growing, so female readers and children, they're not into floppies as much because Diamond makes it very difficult to order stuff.
They do.
So having it come out as trades first and go directly to bookstores, as well as having a more manga-style artwork, I feel like it looking like manga was just happenstance that this artist was very good, and so it's less about women and kids like manga more and more that we need to go more to bookstores.
Sure, yeah. We've seen obviously a lot of news recently about how that seems to be where the comic book market is going.
Yeah, there was 16% growth in graphic novels, whereas floppies are declining.
Yes, it does. It's a poor sad story for the floppies, but hopefully a hopeful future for comics in general.
Yeah.
So we know that from the other Buffy comics, they do a Buffy Summit, and they sort of plan out the plot lines. Are you involved at all with anyone looking over the storylines that you're creating and sort of making sure they sync up?
Mostly I send 2 or 3 sentence pitches, and then my editor says develop this one more, and then I write a more fully detailed outline, and then that gets sent to Fox and Joss Whedon, and they say yes or no. And so I'm not having as much contact with the overseers.
Okay, so they may basically look at your ideas and say, all right, this is going to work for what we already have established.
Yeah, because I can't change the status quo that much, because it has to fit in between different episodes.
So how do you come up with concepts that you want to tackle when it comes to the high school years for this character?
So I try to think of as I said, I rewatched the first season, and I tried to find what are scenes that I felt like were missing, maybe because they didn't have time.
Sure.
So I feel like Buffy's mom didn't get that much spotlight while she didn't know Buffy was the Slayer. So the new book that just came out, Parental Parasite, is more about how Buffy's mom is reacting to her daughter when she doesn't know the full story.
And what I liked about that story in particular is we sort of see both sides. We see, how it can be for a teenager to have sort of an overbearing parent who's always involved, and then exactly how much they miss that parent once they're sort of absent.
Right. So
do you, would you say that this is something that you feel like was just not tackled on the show, and there was really a chance to dig into it here?
Yeah, it's just because there wasn't time on the show to dig into it. And
how do you feel about Buffy's mother? I know that this, for some fans that I've talked to, is sort of a controversy. Some people think she's doing what she can. She's got a tough,
Listen,
a tough life.
She's running a small business.
I know.
And is a single mom.
And her kid burns down the school gym.
It's basically like when people get to attack Buffy's mom, like all she knows is that her kid burnt down a school building, and I feel like this is a pretty big mess up if that's all the info you have.
I would agree. I am sympathetic for Joyce. Guys, give Joyce the benefit of the doubt. She's doing the best she can. All right. So to wrap things up, if people are being introduced to your work through these Buffy High School Years comics, what else can they check out of yours, since you mentioned that you're also an independent publisher?
So with Dark Horse, I also do a creator-owned series called Misfits of Avalon, which is about magical girls that are jerks.
Excellent.
It's basically a magical girl team. They got their powers from Avalon, and they're fighting King Arthur, but they don't know that they're fighting King Arthur.
Okay.
I wanted them all to be sort of juvenile delinquents and less feminine because we get so many. While we are seeing more female leads in stories, a lot of them are like the Batgirl comics that came out recently, where she's very smart and competent and nice, and because of that, they're just like, all right, this is a nice adventure, but I felt like we didn't dig much into her.
Sure. Because
she had everything well put together. And so I always liked characters more like Faith on Buffy, who talk about characters that got the short end of a stick. Is like, Faith's parents were alcoholics, and they didn't care about her, and then the first structure she got was her watcher, who then died.
Yeah,
and
tried to betray her.
No, first the one
the
died.
second one. Yeah, that's true.
And then,
that one did, so multiple
And then
watchers.
when she gets to Sunnydale, she's a teenage runaway that lives in a motel, and why hasn't the Watchers Council paid for her have a better place?
I do not know what's going on.
Yeah, like people go like, why doesn't the Watcher Council pay Buffy so she doesn't have to get a fast food job? I'm more like, Faith was 17 and on the run and was homeless. Where's the Watchers Council then? Like, so I wanted to have more girls like that who don't have stuff together but are still like kind of sympathetic. So one of the girls, like, they have an alcoholic father, and then another girl, she lives in a big family, and her dad recently died, so she's not getting a lot of attention because she has a million siblings, and also her family's going through rough stuff. So so things like that. And
do you find those characters just more relatable because they aren't so perfect?
Yeah, I like characters that are jerks.
Excellent.
And then I got a bunch of self-published webcomics on kelmcdonald.com.
All right, so go to kelmcdonald.com. Are you also able to be found on like Twitter or Instagram?
Yeah, I'm Kelhound on Twitter, like spelt like Hellhound, but has a K instead of an H.
I appreciate that. I like that.
And then I just kickstarted an anthology called Can I Pet Your Werewolf? That's goofy werewolf stories.
Excellent. Well, that should be up your alley if you're into Buffy as well. And thank you so much. Really appreciate the interview. And once again, this is Bryant here at Comic-Con 2017. If you want to find more of our San Diego Comic-Con coverage, go to fanbasepress.com.